Well, hello, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to the last episode of Montreal by Night Season 1. I am your storyteller, Tyson Fraleigh, and I just wanted to give a quick shout-out out top for thanking you all for listening along with the story with us. We greatly appreciate it. But we'll get more into that in the shout-outs at the end of this episode. So let's just dive into our recap. Last time on Montreal by Night, the coterie all met together with all of their allies, discussed plans, and then finally took to storming St. Joseph's Oratory. With the help of their allies, the coterie was able to save a young woman from a ritual as well as hold off the numerous ghouls created by Monsieur Bouchard. After Frederick Lake and Beau were both shot and killed during the exchange, the coterie was able to chase down Abigail Bray and Monsieur Bouchard and end both of their unlives. And that is where we're going to jump right back in.
As soon as I see this and see his head pinned to the wall, I'm just going to cry out, Fortiti! Ha! Ha ha ha! Fortiti, bastardo! You got what you deserved! Before dropping to the ground and turning to look at Nakano, like, just eyes open, like, stupid, crazy grin on my face. And I'm going to blink forward and bear hug him.
That's very good, because Nakano was just about to, collapse. So you're basically the only thing holding him up right now, Talisen.
Asher comes forward to stand with his two friends and puts a hand on each of them. And a weight seems to be lifted from his shoulders. And I'm going to use Valerian on Nakano, just in case.
Thank you.
And I'm going to take some damage from it, but that's okay. And Asher says, now comes the hard part. We have to keep this group of ours together.
I'm more than willing to stick around and give it a try. I'd say we've earned the peace here.
Yes. Whatever you say, Asher.
As you guys collect yourselves and head out from the hallway, you return into the main chambers of where the pews are set up. The rest of the group, as you can see, the corpse of Frederick Lake still scattered near the altar. And as you see, the rest of the Guru, 3 standing over near the pews, just sitting in amongst. As you see, at the far end of the congregation, as it were, Trixie, Dixie, Mixie, and Barbara, as well as Ryan, standing there as they all seem to be awaiting for Talisen.
Nakano, you heal 3 aggravated damage.
Holy shit. Thank you so much, bud. If we're just talking about stuff that's happening in the immediate aftermath, I am going to begin making arrangements to, bring Frederick Lake's body with us to be dealt with properly.
Okay. As Nakano, you head over to Frederick Lake's body. You see a few of the other members of your community, Keeper Nayla, Amun, and Tyler, all look down to the body. We will set him right.
His family was set upon a pyre that may be appropriate for him as well, so they may be together.
A fitting end. Which point, for Talisen and Asher, you guys approach the Guru. As you see the 3 of them kneeling before Beau's body. As you see Wash and Richie kind of standing there. Richie, of course, taking it fairly well, but Wash is clearly not taking this well, as Verity is sitting nearby before she looks up towards you. It is done, I hope.
See, it's done. I am sorry for your loss. And I'll bow my head and sort of put my hand over my heart.
But all of you, in a day or two to rest, we will help you recover the cairn.
Verite nods.
Has the cross up, actually, is the roof still keeping the top of the oratorium in place?
Well, you look up and you see there's no hole in the roof. As you look, as the web-like fabric that surrounded the entire space dissipates. The building doesn't look damaged at all. It's just bodies. As Verite just looks up, we will take care of Bo. But as much as this is a painful moment, we will appreciate the assistance with the cairn.
And anything else you need, find me.
Of course. At which point she kind of looks to Richie and Wash, as Richie just kind of gives you guys a, no, just, I know this was a shitty way for it to end, but thanks.
Of course. Thank you. I realize that you probably have your own funerary rites, and I don't wish to impose upon them. However, I would like to have some drinks, celebratory and commisseratory drinks, at my apartment, and I would be very much honored if you would join us.
Reach out and I'll let you know.
And Richie.
Which point Richie picks up Bo. As he picks up Bo, he looks to you, Asher.
I understand if that's the way you all feel, but this doesn't have to be the end.
The end of
this alliance? A way forward?
You think we're giving up on that so easy?
Asher smiles. A sad smile, but a smile.
At which point Richie kind of nods. Kind of looks to Verite and, come on, leader. We need your help. And Verite just kind of picks up Wash as all three of them head out of the building.
Well, shall we see to our fallen ally then, before we see to anything else?
Which point you guys hear? Aye. Which one of you is Asher? As you see the black-haired woman, now unbound, kind of walking up, pale skin, but a deep tan to it. As you can see, Kate Benoit standing in the back. You're Asher? Or is this one?
I'll point to Asher.
Would you be Talia?
Pleasure to meet you.
I'm sorry it's under such circumstances.
I wish it were a lot of different circumstances.
Are you here to murder me? Because that's kind of played out.
No, I was just coming here to thank you.
For
saving my ass.
Well, it is very good to have. It's very good to not be quite as alone as before. You sticking around?
Oh, yeah, of course. Like the place. But, you mean... I suppose I'm confused. More alone?
Are you not Tremere?
I'm not anything.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the person who turned me... I don't exactly know what Tremere is, but... Look, I get the general picture. Someone fucked me up. But I can't really do anything.
You looking for a job?
I mean, shit, yeah.
How do you feel about a bookstore?
Now you're fucking speaking my language.
You'll meet your manager outside. He's probably gonna take some mental health leave.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, look, to be honest, being within, I don't even know, a 50 fucking radius of that guy, got a motion over to where Bouchard vanished. Everyone's gonna need a fucking scrambler.
I'm gonna be looking at my phone to just confirm that she is Tremere at this point.
Or sorry, well, yeah, in the document it says Tremere, and it says consult with Asher.
So I'm going to turn to Asher and nod my head. Train her well.
Not immediately, but over the next couple days. Asher will perform the blood walk ritual with Talia to get more insight into her heritage.
Well, with all that being said, what we'll say is you collect the body of Frederick Lake. You are able to pull his corpse from the site. What are you doing with Abigail Bray and Monsieur Bouchard and the 6 ghouls?
I think we should not take any chances with them. I would like to see their bodies destroyed.
I leave this in your hands. I am tired.
Was Bouchard reading out of a book when he was performing the ritual?
He was.
Could I take it?
Mm-hmm.
I skipped to the end. What was it going to do?
Well, the end of the book is blank. It is a very thick book. As the beginning section seems to have been a entire handwritten section of the entire Bible. Certain events changed and altered as this was handwritten from top to bottom. And then about halfway through the book, it transfers into notes of creating a blood beacon. As he describes it as something to awaken and mark the city as a dominion of Cain. He writes throughout the book just kind of this general derision of the Sabbat, how it lacks organization, how he has felt disillusioned from it because it lacked order, or the order that he deemed necessary. And upon the creation of a blood beacon, was required the sacrifice of the degenerate thin-blooded. Killing the target, or the sacrifice, would have caused some difficulty, but it could be still performed. It is unknown exactly what a successful performance would have caused, but thankfully you don't have to worry about that.
We destroy the book along with the body.
Okay. As you have the bodies collected, you also do have the 2 Nosferatu outside. What would you like to do with them?
I think Nakano didn't want to take the reins unless that's changed. I thought that maybe we could sit down with them in the gangrel and maybe talk about how they were all misled.
I think that is very wise, Asher.
So, I want to go up. I'll go to Cape Benoit, and I'll say, "Thank you for joining us, Anastasia. However, based on the current goings-on here, I believe you would be safer elsewhere.
I believe such as well.
I will take over the administration of the corridors in the city. I ask that you head to Paris. There is a member of our clan, Jean-Claude. You may have heard of him.
I'm aware of Jean-Claude. But with all due respect, Talisen, I believe I will be leaving somewhere that you will not know. No one will know.
That is fine. I ask that you stop in Paris, simply to alert some toreadors that there is space available in Montreal. After that, do what you will.
I can certainly try, but be aware. What am I saying? You all have outthought me. Good work, Talisen. You've saved a lot of people.
Thanks from you, Miss Benoit. It's high praise indeed. Stay safe.
And she nods before she turns and walks away.
I'd also like to go to the members of my herd and say, ladies, thank you very much for your assistance tonight. I knew I could count on you, and you did not disappoint.
Of course. What kind of people do you take us for?
Ones of high character, which is why I enjoy your company so much. Now, this is something I ask with some trepidation, and it is not something I ask lightly. But you've seen us, you've seen what we can do, and I can think, and you know what we need. I can think of no finer toreadors to help bring the city into a new age of peace than you. I will not force the issue upon you. If you would like to join our ranks, then I will facilitate that. But this is a choice for you and you alone. I'm more than happy to have you remain at my side. I would be very happy if you would stay on as my associates in your present forum. If you want something more, let me know.
All four of them kind of look to each other. My goodness, I feel like I've been proposed to. Let us have a think on it.
I'll get down on one knee and say, only the best for you, my ladies. and reach out my hand.
You see Trixie just, like, playfully slaps it away. Well, don't you know that a lady needs some time to think about such things? Give us a little bit of time to think it over.
I'll stand up again. I'll say, of course. Take as much time as you need. You let me know. But thank you. I greatly appreciate all that you've done and all your support.
As per that point, we will now take a step into our epilogue. You guys successfully take the bodies of Bouchard, of Bray, of the other ghouls that were taken here, take them up onto Montreal, take numerous different branches, burnable parishes, and set it up in the parking lot. You're able to make pyres for everyone involved, including Frederick Lake, as you set him up on his own pyre away from the burning bodies of the others. You're able to get all the bodies on before you quickly have to flee because of firefighters and police officers very quickly coming to the spot. But the bodies are successfully burned and destroyed. In the following days, you guys are able to successfully return the Cairn of Montreal back to the Wendigo and Fianna tribes of Guru. With the help of Verity, you're actually able to not only just fight the spirits, but also convert some of them back to their proper planes, and you are able to further bond and grow that alliance between your two groups. At which point, as far as just general things that are going on in the world before we go into individual epilogues, in the wake of the events of October 31st, there's essentially a lot of confusion, a lot of public anger, as the events of October 31st are distorted slightly by the assistance of the True Faith as just one really strange day that everyone seemed to have. It was something that people were having a hard time, like, wrapping their heads around until they've approached St. Columba House. Public outcry and essentially a whole bunch of opinion pieces and articles are written about how experts seem to believe that this kind of repressed emotion was sprung forth based on fear campaigns promoted by the mayor and additional stresses to the community, which was then put into juxtaposition with St. Columba House, where upon everyone arriving, the members of St. Columba House just did started generating lots of food, being able to essentially establish everyone kind of a little bit of comfort and a little bit of home out in the park right across the street from the building. Overall, this culminated into a very public rally cry to have Estelle Lavoie established as mayor of Montreal, which only because there was such a massive outcry to have her assistance did she accept. Is there anything that people would like to touch on, like in a public, like figuring out stuff that they would do on a like larger community scale versus like individually to their experiences?
I would like to, before my own personal actions, speak to Estelle Leroy and say, you know, I think after the distressing events of this Halloween, this city could do with a little more beauty. Perhaps we could do some construction. Spruce the place up a bit in, I don't know, plastisart, perhaps?
Oh, dear Lord. This is what you were about to ring me up for before, wasn't it?
No, absolutely not. No, I just...
Do you really believe that this city needs more construction?
You make a fair point, actually.
We have a lot of things that we have to work through. We have to figure out proper construction markets again. We've got to figure out how to get the concrete out of the hands of the mafia of this city.
Definitely.
But
I'm more than happy to offer my assistance.
we will see. We will see. In any case, thank you both very much for all of that you have done. It has been a sincere pleasure.
The pleasure was all ours.
Alrighty. Anything else?
Asher circumvents the many traps that were laid in the bookstore after he left. Tripwires, bolts, explosives, all sorts of stuff. He takes out a loan from Talisen and purchases the A&W directly adjacent to his shop and expands into it. And in that space is a large, like, open space surrounded by comfortable, like, leather chairs. That's like a very welcoming boardroom. And he trains Talia for the job. He finds a therapist for Sebastian who is like aware of the world of darkness, but not directly a part of it. And Sebastian tries out some different medications. It takes a little bit to get the dosage right. Once he does, however, Ryan typically comes and feeds from Sebastian to assist in his own difficulties. I think the two of them become pretty close as friends.
I suppose speaking of Ryan and big changes, we have a moment before Estelle Lavoie becomes mayor, still in the point of the public outcry and calling for her nomination. You would all get a message from Lavoie and Ryan. Come to St. Columba House immediately. Emergency meeting required.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I assume I'm at St. Columba House.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you would be the first one to notice this, actually. That's a very good point. Nakano, you do see, waking up for one of your shifts, kind of for the evening, working at the house, you see Ryan come in. Oh, hey, bud. How's it going?
Ah, Ryan. Can we help you with something today?
Well, I'm actually doing a little thing with Miss Lavoie. I heard about your guys' little thing with like being able to walk in daylight and that sort of thing. I just kind of wanted to see if I could get me a little bit of that, you know?
I see.
You know, it's kind of it's kind of embarrassing when I can't like go out and on a date with like Barbara.
Go forth, Ryan.
Cool. As you see, Estelle just kind of, oh, Ryan, please come in. It's about 15 minutes, Nakano, as you're kind of like sweeping up, just getting the place nice and clean. Before you hear from the office, ah!
Knock, knock, knock. Is everything okay in there?
I think so. As you kind of just open the door, and before you see Estelle standing there, arm kind of out, just looking shocked towards Ryan, who you see looks mortal. The skin is plump, coming in darker. You can see it is flush coming to his cheeks. You can see the red focuses around his eyes have gone down. His hair has become essentially less scarce and almost wiry, but is now back to like a black slick. And you can hear with your acute senses that ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom in his chest.
My God. We need to tell the others about this.
At which point Ryan just faints. Which point Talisen and Asher, you approach St. Columba House, finding a fainted but now alive Ryan. As Estelle just kind of, strangest thing, I was helping him with the transition that I was assisting you all with, and we got to thinking, what would happen if he drank my blood? And well, this is it. I don't know what to do with this information.
Taliesin just sort of looks totally shocked and stares into space a little bit, is sort of unaware how to process what's just happened. For once, he is lost for words.
We should keep this secret for now. Though if there are young people turned against their will, this offers a way back into their own lives. Perhaps Tyler would be interested?
And you guys hold on to the secret, as it were. Do you mention it to Tyler?
I think I asked Tyler that if there were a way to be turned back, would he want it?
Kind of one point when he visits the shop. God, that's a hard question. You Taliesin, Nakano, and Nayla, you guys are all sticking around, right?
I'm not going anywhere. I only just repaired my shop.
Look, I suppose I came to the understanding that if there's no good power in the world, you got to achieve power to make it right. And I think that's the only reason that would be holding me back, which isn't much of a reason at all. Especially when we got people like you around. So I suppose if I have had the option, yeah.
Okay. Come with us.
Okay. You lead Tyler to Estelle. You give them a moment. Steps back out. Tyler is a whole new man.
That's so scary.
I feel more myself than I have in a very long time. Thank you, all of you. I wouldn't have made it out of this without you.
You had better still come and visit the shop.
Oh, of course. Of course. No, I'm sure me and Emil will come knocking. I mean, shit, Asher, if you get your shop certified with McGill. Maybe I'll start picking up some of my course packs from there.
Oh, that would be so much business, and yes, of course I'll do it. Asher doesn't start carrying course packs, but he does keep track of the classes that Tyler and Emil and any of the other Magi are taking, and specifically stocks those textbooks ahead of time.
Most of the Magi, it's religious studies, which is greatly assisted with Amun El Kamil. Great for tutoring, and great having the instructor as a friend. Also, studies of new religion, spirituality, where some of it is hocus pocus, but some of it has hidden truths for all the wrong reasons. As Emil, I believe Emil was getting her communications, degree, and
or poli-sci or something like that.
Yes, that's right. She was she is now completing her poli-sci, and Tyler is finishing up his law degree.
And so Talia and Sebastian get settled back in at the Nightly Nook. They help Asher to expand, and Asher starts hosting meetings between the different elements within the city. He tries to get Estelle to come to most of them, and tries to convince her to share the truth with a trusted aide or something, so that people in the mayor's office are aware of what's going on. And eventually, even with his dreams starting to come true, Asher still doesn't have all the answers he wants. He learns the ritual to communicate with his sire after 70 years and begins asking her questions about the thin-blooded and any research that she has. And he also, one night late, nearly before dawn, knocks on Talisen's door.
Talisen personally, because he's using his connections, he's going to set up false IDs for any and all of the group, and work on getting them absolutely airtight. He's going to make sure that he's got one as a government official, so that it's not weird him continuing to walk in with Estelle. He is going to lean on her a little bit for more development, but because this is the first time that he's got really close to realizing his dream of, having enough power and authority so that he will never be enslaved and his friends will never be enslaved. He's diving headlong into it. So he's starting shell companies, he's trying to funnel money into the city, both covertly and overtly, into the bookshop, into St. Columba House. Sorry, he'll be in strict communication with Jean-Claude in France to make sure that the Toreadors being sent over are of a peaceable and agreeable nature.
You communicate with Jean-Claude? No Toreadors are interested.
That's okay. He'll also talk to his herd, see if any of them want to be turned.
Mixie, Dixie, and Barbara inform you that they're going to hold off, as it were. Barbara was flirting with it more due to Ryan's condition until he was unturned. However, Trixie comes up to you. Well, I've had a sweet little thought about it, and I figure there are worse people to spend my life with.
I am flattered, my lord. So I will embrace Trixie. I will, as much as my duties allow me, I will train her in the ways of the Toreador, in, responsible feeding and everything like that. And when choosing a couple of other individuals to turn, I will alert Asher, and if Nakano chooses to include himself in the affairs, him as well. But it'll only be to the point where there's a small number. He's not going crazy. He'll very, very acutely pick, over the course of like a year or something like that, to make sure that they're of the correct quality. And so there may be 3 or 4 Toreadors, but nothing crazy.
As you're getting word out during this process, you do get an envelope appear at your door. You open it up, as you see that there is a fairly large document, not huge, what looks to be a LARP camp application, but instead it comes from a very familiar figure, Doug, who writes in the corner on a Post-it note, "This was the only application information I could find. I filled out the paperwork. Inside it also has my SIN number and all other related employment information. I don't know if this is required for you. Please, thank you so much for your consideration." You even see there is a cover letter.
Oh my god.
I will speak with both Asher and Nakano and the mayor to see if this is agreeable by them.
I'm not making him Tremere. It's not a good fit.
I am not making him Nosferatu.
Well, he certainly has the gift of the gab to be a Toreador. Perhaps he can learn some discretion. But he's a good storyteller nonetheless. So, are we in agreement?
Your clan.
I'll keep as much of an open table as possible. So, with everyone's approval, I will turn Doug as well into a Toreador. But I'll double down on the education.
Pretty much the entire, Doug is just over the moon. He, during the entire intro process, is just like, so that's great there. Thank you so much for the opportunity. A question: Are we supposed to change names?
I did. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay, that's cool. Which point he takes this information and upon completion of the turning. All right, that's it.
That is it. Welcome to the world of darkness. May you be a beacon of light.
Well, actually, I was more kind of thinking, as opposed to light being more, darker side. So I was kind of thinking, from no longer just Doug, call me Nightshade.
Oh, good God.
I am not good at Nightshade. Have an actual name.
How about, okay. Moonshadow.
Actual name.
Yeah, Moon, first name, Shadow, last name.
Asher makes a name tag that says Moonshadow, and when you flip it, it says Nightshade. And he gives it to Doug as a gift, a couple weeks later.
Yes!
Talisen will attend the roundtable meetings, and he's not been given an opportunity or a reason to bring out his more vengeful side. So he's battening down the hatches and making sure that what happened to him and the Thin Bloods and Neonates that recently got turned doesn't happen to anyone again. So he's doing his best to protect the city and everyone in it. And build up Plazdazar.
So Asher knocks on Talisen's door. on like a random night.
What I said, my friend. How are you? It's good to see you as always.
I'm good. I'm good. And Asher looks a little bit nervous. Mind if I come sit for a moment?
Join us, and I'll take him to the elevator to the secret top floor. Set him up in or set us up in main drawing room.
You know, you've been busy, and I've been chatting again with my sire. She's thinking about sending some people over, not necessarily Tremere, but just whoever's around, so long as they fit what we're looking for. But you've been busier than ever, and I wanted to know if you were okay with a partner for Guardian of Lost Children.
Well, I think I've graduated to Baron now, so I will need somebody else to help assume the responsibilities.
Are you sure?
Who would you propose join me in guarding the lost children? And I'll sort of look at him with a knowing grin.
We're talking about me, right?
Yes, Asher.
We're talking about me.
We're talking about you.
Like a huge amount of stress just leaks out of him. Good.
I want you by my side, Asher. I want you leading the way. Like me. You have a vested interest in keeping the city safe, keeping the peace, and bringing some honor back to the kindred. I would be happy to have you by my side, as Baron and as Keeper of the Lost Children.
I'll think about the Baron thing, but as for the other one, I'm in.
Excellent. I couldn't think of anyone better.
I think you're forgetting one person. As you just kind of turn and you see Trixie is in a full, like, red sequin dress, just, like, got the shaker ready. Well, I mean, I'll just say, I'm a close second.
Trixie, of course you are. However, I require someone of a little more...
Asher silently shakes his head behind Talisen's back and mouths, "No, you aren't."
You are a clear second, however, I require you by my side. This role requires someone with a little bit more experience in the world, which is something that you don't have yet. As Talisen settles into his role as one of the barons, more and more on his side, Trixie's going to be there. And it's once or twice, and then it's a little bit more, and a little bit more. And people notice they're just getting a little bit closer each time.
At which point, speaking of barons, in the temporary purpose, groups are kind of looking for potentially a new way of governance. But as per the moment, Talisen is offered the position of Baron, as is Keeper Nayla, who accepts, as is Amun El Kamil, who decides actually to be an advisor for the Keeper.
What about Riff?
Riff is offered a barony, which he does accept.
Upon Riff accepting the barony, I will take off Esther's furs, which I haven't worn out since that night, and I'll present them to him as a token of leadership.
And he just kind of takes them and puts them on.
Oh, he's learning to communicate with Riff. He's trying. He's not doing a very good job, but he's trying.
Asher also demands that there be a Guru Baron.
Without question, it is very easy to get a Guru on board, as Verte takes on the role as...
Oh, I kind of wanted Tall Tales.
Tall Tales is definitely an advisor, but Verte is is a child of the moon, so immediately great peacekeeper.
Asher wants a magi on this like Baron's council that they're making, but knows that Sebastian isn't in a place that he can take that quite yet.
Nope. However, Emil does step up.
Emil takes it. Fantastic.
From which, moving away for a second, Nakano, what are you up to?
The very first thing that Nakano does is as soon as he steps out of the oratory, he gets into his car and he drives to the goddamn insectarium.
Yeah, that's fucking right. Damn, they got a whole bunch of bugs in here.
And then I once the bat's in there, I leave immediately after, and I never call him again.
The next day, you do see a news headline: bat trapped inside of insectarium, half of exhibits eaten or in disarray.
Ah, well.
Insect species becomes extinct because bat.
Nakano is going to go back down to the heart, and he is going to disable or destroy much of the tech down there so that it cannot be abused. And then he is going to go to St. Columba House, and in the back, in a little plot of dirt, he is going to take all of his guns and his swords, and he is going to bury them deep. He takes one of Talisen's fake identities, and shortly into November, both Roy Nakano and Ryuichi Nagano die in completely separate, mysterious accidents, and Ren Nakamura begins working at St. Columba House.
Fake identities work as planned. For you, Ren, one of the points that you're beginning to start your shift, Estelle kind of leans out. Would I be able to speak to you just for a moment?
Yes.
Perfect. At which point she pulls you into the office. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I do have two things I wanted to ask you. The first one is a delicate question, but I wanted to ask it nevertheless. Before, a long time ago, you said that you wanted to no longer be a soldier and to no longer fight in the same way. I don't want this to come off as rude. I am simply inquiring if part of that you wanted to, and she just offers a palm forward, change.
He just looks at her sadly, hopefully, a lot of emotions in there. And he takes her hand. I must... There is both a great burden to what I am and a great responsibility. Can I do what I must if I am no longer a vampire? I must think about this. What was your second question?
Well, the second question is equally as important, but also potentially laughable in the state of things. I got a official request last night if I wanted to officially become mayor of the city. And with all your hard work that you've done, I wanted to see if you wanted to come on as one of my advisors.
That is very generous of you, Estelle. I would be, of course, happy to advise you, but I am not sure if the political sphere is for me.
I understand. I would not force this upon you. I suppose the purpose is I just need to have people around me who have a good heart. I want people that I know I can trust, not necessarily just to listen to me, but to do what is right. And so I can trust you.
He smiles. Then I will be at your side.
Wonderful. Well, take your time, think it over.
Yeah, I think, after that, for a little while, I think that in his duties at St. Columba House, Nakano, Ren, whatever, I'll just keep calling him Nakano for the sake of consistency. Nakano sort of also uses St. Columba House as like a halfway house for new vampires or vampires who have just entered the city and need somewhere to go. Never like trying to be a leader for them or anything, or never officially. I think sometimes they look to him as a leader and he is not a fan of that. He also volunteers sometimes at the Japanese Canadian Cultural Center in Montreal. And I think I'd also like to think he like does a bit of moonlighting driving the blood bank truck around now that Doug's busy being Moonshadow Nightshade. And one evening, he parks the truck in front of the Nightly Nook and calls Asher and Talisen to meet him there.
Taliesin would try to make a point to visit both Nakano and Asher outside of business, because they're his buddies. But in this occasion, yeah, he's gonna duck on over.
Asher's there.
And I'll drop a small cooler sack of blood bags on the table for us in like a private room there, I guess.
Asher takes out 3 like bendy straws.
Yeah, the little curly ones.
Yeah, and some margarita glasses.
The three of us have we've done a lot together in this world. Pushed the world of vampires ever further into the future. Soon enough, the 3 of us will be relics, eh?
You 2 before me.
Quiet, youngster. I plan on sticking around for a while just yet, though.
But it has gotten me thinking. We have been around for a long time, and we have done what I hope is good work. Perhaps there is even better work that we can do. I don't know. But I am wondering. Estelle has offered me the chance to become mortal again.
And you would live? You wouldn't age the years in between?
I don't know. No one's ever really tried this before. I suppose that there is a possibility that I would simply turn to dust.
That would be very anticlimactic. But I suppose it's a possibility.
While those that have undergone the procedure weren't kindred for too long, they didn't seem to age at all when they were returned to mortality. It may be that you simply become the Nakano as you are now, but mortal.
What is it that you want?
See, follow your heart.
I would like peace for myself, for the city, and I fear that one does not work with the other.
I am trying my best to bring peace and security to the city, and I will do whatever I can to maintain that. I think, however, there is a time when you must look inward, Nakano. You have been a great friend and ally, an honorable man, for a long time. If this is what you truly want, I am behind you. I will visit you as you age, and I will be at your funeral when you pass.
How wonderfully morbid, Talisen.
Well, we are what we are.
But thank you.
If you choose to do this, you will still be receiving letters of everything that goes on in the council meetings. Each week, you'll be receiving updates constantly. You're welcome to join, represent the mortals, and that way, if ever we overstep or toe the line, at least I'll know that we have you there to tell us that that is where we stop.
However, Nakano, if you would like to do this in a more informal manner, simply tell us that we are misstepping. If you want to step back from the kindred world and find your peace, you can also do that.
It appears you are both the idea guys tonight.
Well, it had to happen sooner or later, didn't it?
Thank you, my friends. And after we've had a couple of drinks, chatted, called it a night, I will get back in my truck and I will drive back to St. Columba House. And I will find Estelle.
Working late, she just kind of, yes, hello, Nakano? Oh, I'm sorry, Ren?
It is fine. For you, it is fine. There was a time when I looked upon all of this, everything, as a curse. I viewed myself as a monster. That much Bouchard had right. But sometimes what I am, sometimes it seems not so cursed and not so monstrous. And it is something that enough people must face that I can help them. I can make them understand that they are not cursed either. And I do not think that I can do that. Not in an honest way. If I step out of the shadows fully just yet.
Of course. Well, I'm still very happy to have you as my advisor, Nakano. I hope you know now that I have met many men who are monsters. I have met few monsters, I will admit, but I have never met a man such as you.
I will lean over and I will give her a kiss on the forehead. and I will say, the world is not so dark when I stand next to you. And someday, if I'm very, very lucky, I can bring some of that light to others. Thank you for everything, Estelle. And I think that's Nakano.
In which case, I will finish off our story here with 3 beats, as it were. As Nakano, working early into the morning of one day for the for St. Columba House, taking in, as you said, traveling members of the vampire community, anyone who is halfway between here and there and needing a little bit of a foot up. It's one of these nights, as you're kind of cleaning up, that you see the group there before you hear a knock at the door.
I will open it.
As you see standing before you, a faceless man. He has no eyes, he has no nose, he has nothing. Except for a captain's uniform. As he tilts his head down towards you and back upwards. It's good to see you again, Nakano.
Harcourt.
How are things going on this side of the continent?
Nothing that would concern you.
I see you got some pretty sweet digs here. It's great to see you. I'm glad to see you're doing well. It's always a beautiful moment to see one of your children flourish.
I am no boy anymore, Harcourt. I will kill you.
Always the dramatic Nakano. But don't worry. I'll be around port. If you need anything, just let me know. As he just steps one foot after another. It really is good to see you again, Nakano. As he vanishes from sight. As we move over to the nightly nook, we see Asher collecting the last of a series of books that you're about to shelf before your night is going to end, as Sebastian and Talia are essentially about to switch shifts. As Talia kind of, oh shit, all right, thank God this fucking shit is done. I'm gonna take a nice long nap. Sebastian, well, I do not know if you're completely done just yet. There's still more books out front to take care of. At which point Talia kind of heads out the door as Sebastian just kind of turns to you. We'll take care of the rest. You get some rest.
Thanks. How are you doing?
Better every day. As much as one can be.
And we're okay?
Better.
Asher nods, heads towards the stairs.
Okay. Which point, as you're heading towards the stairs, you hear a thump, a dropping sound.
Turn towards it.
You turn and you see where, essentially, where the back room was once clustered with books, has now been organized, finally. But there's one book that's there that was not there before.
Asher moves towards it, picks it up.
It's very small, very thin. It's almost hard to get your fingers on exactly. It looks very old, very worn. And you see that there's only a few pages inside.
I check out the spine. I turn over my shoulder to see if Sebastian has noticed this book, and then I crack it open.
Sebastian's already headed to the front room, but as you crack it open, you look down, and there's only one page with writing on it. It's a short message, as it reads, "Thanks for holding on to my book. I appreciate the assistance. Hopefully one day we'll get to meet. Signed, Mr. Hyatt.
I think it was at the repository, but that's okay. I'll take it.
Oh, the book is now at the repository.
As soon as I read that, I'm out the door. I also, on my way, Asher would have been like stressed, but so careful not to be followed.
Okay. You head to the repository. You see Keeper Nayla kind of approaching the door. Sorry, Asher, is there something wrong? She kind of heads off towards the shelves and shelves of books. As you go to where, essentially alphabetized, but also sometimes a little bit scattered in a pattern that only Keeper Nayla knows. As you look, as you see a perfect hole in the library wall. She just kind of looks to you. Shit. As we hard cut to Talisen. As Talisen, you're gathering the last of your things for the evening. As you hear from your bedroom. Hun, are you coming?
As soon as I'm finished up here, I shall be there shortly.
All right. Don't take too long.
I would never keep you waiting, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
The sass.
At which point, Talisen, you get a knock at the door.
One moment, my dear. I'll call out. It appears we have company. And I'll head to the door. And I will open it.
Okay. You open the door as you see a relatively tall gentleman, kind of blackened hair and a very nice cut, well-tailored suit. This pale but strangely tanned skin, to a certain extent, standing there as you see a figure you have met before. As you look upon, you never knew his name, but this was another child of Anastasia the Red.
You must pass on the name of your tailor, sir. The cut is impeccable. And I'm hiding my concern because it's definitely there. The hairs on the back of my neck are definitely standing up.
Sorry to call such early in the morning. Just had a quick question. You're Talisen Sforza, correct?
It depends on who's asking.
Well, you can simply call me Henry Dufresne. I come from New York. You've made quite a kerfuffle up here.
Well, you know, I do love being part of the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to say, I've been here for a message. I suppose an offering. The Ivory Tower is impressed by your work. I'll put it to you bluntly. The Camarilla want to make a deal. And that's where we're going to end off our story.
Oh! Fuck no. 100%. Jesus. Fuck. Also, just with this, there's got to be a season 2. There's got to be a season 2.
That's what I'm doing. I'm just laying the groundwork for next season.
The fucking Nakano one. Motherfucker, you think you can come and piss off Nakano and get away with it? Nuh-uh. Illuminate the trail of prey. I'm on your tail. We're going to ruin you.
Well, I'll be the first to say thank you all so much for listening to the first season of both Montreal by Night, but also the first season of The Rook and the Rascal. We are so happy to have you all along with us for the journey. We are going to be having a talkback episode following up from this week's recording. So stay tuned for that. And for I suppose for the last time, as per a game recording, do people want to plug anything? Do people want to do any shout outs? Anything at all?
Obviously, I have plugged my other podcast, October Jones and Fish with Legs, many times over the course of the season, and quite frankly, if you've made it this far and don't know about that podcast, there's bigger issues at work. And so I'm just going to take an opportunity to echo Tyson's sentiment and just thank everyone who has stuck around for this weird, this dark, this very funny and thoroughly enjoyable series that we have somehow managed to cobble together. I really am so grateful.
Sorry, Takeshi, is that the podcast that received multiple nominations for the Canadian Podcast Awards?
Not only that, but it won an award. Which one was that, Ethan?
That's what I thought I heard as well.
Yes, October Jones and Fish with Legs is a Canadian Podcast Award-winning podcast. It's 3:00 in the morning. I don't know how to finish that sentence.
I would love to give a shout out to our incredible storyteller, Tyson Fraleigh, for his patience with the three of us power gamers. And I am so happy to have been invited to be a part of this. All you out there listening, we love you. Take care of yourselves. Be kind. Ask yourself, what would Nakano do?
It's a good thing to ask yourself, to be honest. I'd like to have a few shout outs. Firstly, guys, get your COVID vaxxers. Let's knock this thing out of the park. But I guess closer to home, I would like to thank Tyson for bringing me on board. It's been great to catch up again, buddy, and you continue to be an absolutely phenomenal DM and storyteller. I'd like to thank Three Kings Loot for supporting this. Great shop, go buy stuff. Ethan and Takeshi, you guys are absolute legends. Thanks and thanks to all of you for putting up with my eccentricities and for accommodating the fact that I am on the other side of the world. There's been times where it's been a bit early and you guys have pushed the recording back, even though it's been later for you guys, so thank you very much for that. I'd like to thank my friend Claudia, who I lived with in London. I based some of the accent off her, and she taught me some of the vocabulary, the swear words. And I'd like to thank Hannah as well. She's been drawing some artwork for me and for us, and just sending along little doodles.
Yep, we this is going to be way in the past for the audience, but as per our current moment recording, we just posted her first artwork piece on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook of our dear boy Asher Haynes, and absolutely, Hannah does a great job with the art.
If you want to follow her on Instagram, she's under there as Human Bean, B3AN. Go check her work out. It's awesome. And thank you to all our listeners as well. You guys are phenomenal.
Well, in which case, once again, thank you all so much for listening and being on this journey with us. It has been so much fun. And I can't wait to do it again. Let us know if you want more Vampire the Masquerade shenanigans, and we'll be happy to bring it back. As always, if you like this podcast and you like this series, make sure to check out The Rook and the Rascal on Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your better podcasts. You can also check us out on YouTube at Three Kings Loot. Make sure to get all your board game news from the Bag of Loot and all of your board game needs from Three Kings Loot. And make sure to, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Gotta do the new shout out. Thank you all so much for listening. Echoing what Ethan said, be kind to one another. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll catch you next time.